Hi, this is Rebecca Cuevas, founder and CEO of Learn and Get Smarter Incorporated. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. If you're a returning visitor, thanks for stopping by again. We're so thrilled to have you here. And if this is your first time, welcome. I hope you'll find this a community of learners and educators that is supportive of your goals for your online courses and membership site. As I said, I'm Rebecca Cuevas, and today I want to share a quote that has really spoken to me as an educator from the beginning of my journey back in college, learning how to teach anything to anyone. And I want to explain why I'm so passionate about that concept that you can teach anything to anyone in some way online. I was inspired by a quote from educational researcher and theoretician and thought leader Jerome Bruner from his 1960 work, The Process of Education. And I'm not going to give you an exact quote, but I'll put the exact quote in the text in the description box. But the meaning of his statement was that it's possible to teach anything to anyone at any age in some intellectually honest manner. Now, why do I care so much about this? It's actually a very personal story and one that may be a bit painful, especially to those of us who are parents, thinking about the situation that I was in and especially that my parents were in, ironically at the exact same time in 1960. In 1960, I was 6 years old, and my mother, a vibrant, beautiful, otherwise healthy young woman in her early 30s, was dying of cancer. Now, we had just come out of the 1950s. This was an era where you really couldn't talk about this kind of thing, especially not, breast cancer. And really the education on how to be outspoken on that kind of topic didn't emerge until Betty Rollins in the 1970s. So here was a subject that was taboo, a topic that was horrifying to parents to have to discuss with a child. And on top of all that, no one really knew how do you tell a child that their parent is very sick and even dying? That's something that none of us would want to have to face. So what happened was no one talked about it. No one told us what was going on. And the result of that is that when you're not educated, when you're not prepared for something that is going to happen in your life, that leaves you at a great disadvantage. And not only are you dealing with a difficult situation, in my case it was the loss of my mother at an early age, but you have no warning. You have no understanding, no context, no framework. I mean, at its heart, what is the purpose of learning? The purpose of learning is to promote survival, to help us cope with the things we're going to encounter in our environment, in our daily life. One of the theories about stories, for example, is that the reason we love stories is that they make us aware, don't go over there, there's a bear, it could eat you. It ate Tommy, and here's the story about how that happened. So, stories educate us, they teach us things. Now, I will say my mother did use stories to teach me, and she did an amazing job, to teach me a lifetime of wisdom that she wanted to share with me. And she did that for me from the ages of 5 to 7 by reading me all sorts of children's stories that had really deep wisdom in a form that I could understand. So she really did a heroic job of that, and I would say that it worked. She did give me the wisdom that I needed for life, and I will be sharing that with you on my Ask Mother Rebecca blog and in some of the books that I'll be writing, especially a really big book that I've been working on really my entire adult life called The Tree of Life Tapestry. So I will be sharing that deep wisdom that emerges from story and has to do with the things that we can't really say explicitly for whatever reason. But today I'm addressing a different topic, which is how do we actually directly teach anything to anyone at any age? And of course, now we know there are ways, even when you have to give horrible news like my parents did, there are ways to teach that type of information to children that is developmentally appropriate and that will, prepare them for what they have to deal with. So one of the reasons I'm so passionate about teaching anything to anyone is that I want to be sure that everyone learns what they need to learn so they can cope with what they have to cope with and do what they have to do. Whether that means, getting a new job, dealing with a difficult situation, putting on your oxygen mask on the airplane. I want everyone to have the instruction that they need in order to function at the highest and best that they're capable of in life and deal with whatever situation they are encountering. So to remind you about the quote, again, this is not a direct quote. I'll put the text in the description box under this video. But the meaning of the quote from Bruner is that it is possible to teach anything to anyone at any age in some intellectually honest manner. I really want you to remember that if you're struggling with how to get your message out, if you're trying to teach something to children and it's, really hard. I've taught ethical values to 3-year-olds. I've taught wastewater treatment to thousands of 10-year-olds. Now, those 10-year-olds weren't going to leave my wastewater treatment plant tour and go and become treatment plant operators, at least not next week. Maybe some of them did do that. Maybe they were inspired. The 3-year-olds were not going to become philosophy professors after leaving my nursery school class on telling the truth and saying you're sorry, but maybe some of them were inspired to live a deep ethical life. In fact, I know they were because I've met some of them as adults and they've told me that. So as a teacher, you have a very profound responsibility. You are changing lives. You are changing hearts and minds. You are preparing people for the things that they need to deal with. And the reason I'm so passionate about instructional design is that that's what makes it possible for you to do that in a way that really works. If we were architects and we were building buildings, we would never say, well, just, pre-sell the building and then just put it together however you feel like it. Of course, there's a whole discipline and a science to how to build a building so that it stays up. And the same is true for our instructional buildings. We want them to stay up in our learners' minds. We want them to be effective in helping our learners learn what they need to learn so they can do what they have to do. So again, it's possible to teach anything to anyone at any age in some intellectually honest manner. Please take that to heart. Don't get discouraged if you're finding it difficult to get your message out, or if you have a difficult message to share with people who are young or who have special learning circumstances. There's always a way to make it work. So get in touch with me either at learnandgetsmarter.com by writing to me at Rebecca@learnandgetsmarter.com, or you're welcome to get on my mailing list for my Ask Mother Rebecca site. Mother Rebecca is my alter ego, my Victorian alter ego that represents my brand. And I'll be having a site called Ask Mother Rebecca at askmotherrebecca.com. You can already sign up for follow our YouTube channel. You can follow Mother Rebecca's Facebook page, and I'll put a link to our mailing list so that you can find out when Mother Rebecca's book is coming out, which is going to be called Hello World, Meet Mother Rebecca, the autobiography of a fictional Victorian know-it-all. So anyway, I just want you to remember the quote, it's possible to teach anything to anyone at any age in some intellectually honest manner. Take it to heart, think about it, share in the comments or send me an email to let me know, what are you struggling to teach and how can I be of service in helping you get your message out to where it needs to go, because it really matters. Stay fabulous, and I will see you online.